Crispy's Kiwi Adventures. Everywhere he goes, you find him on the lakes, on the rivers, in the sea, in the mountains, through the rain and the sleet and snow. Oh, 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 oh.
Well, how's it, team? Up here in sunny, beautiful Nelson, as you've seen from the intro, and I am up here visiting Clay Tall Stories. Now, I'm going to flip the camera around in a minute, and I'm going to introduce you to Clay. But just a quick rundown, we've come up here, I've brought up Jamie, who you've probably will meet in the video, and he is coming up here to stay. He's come over from Australia, he's come back home, and he's heading over to the coast to live. So, jealous much? So I think he's really looking forward to that. But today, I've pretty much spent the day wandering around the farm, taking a bit of footage and video of Clay's awesome property. He's a very blessed man. He lives on a decent little piece of land. He's got a bit of native bush, and it is awesome. But I've come up here to spend time with the man himself because the dude is a legend. So I'll flip you around and have a look.
I'm a legend of my own lunch break.
Here he is, guys.
That's an overstatement on your part. I'm probably one of the most, well, I was one of the most insecure people I knew before I started really getting into doing YouTube. I used to be a musician before this, and YouTube's been a really good way to break out of that insecurity and be comfortable with lots of people, and it's certainly forced that everywhere I go now. Today I had a really cool tall Māori guy come up to me, and it was really, I was just going from the chiropractor, or to the car, the chiropractor, and this guy came up and he called me Matu Clay, and he said, "Bro, I saw your primitive challenge with Māori artifacts," and it wasn't an ego thing meeting this guy, it was a spiritual thing. And it was really humbling, and I think being a YouTuber has done that to me. It's really been very humbling because I've met so many awesome people, and they've had a huge effect on my life, like you coming up. It's something that I needed to do. I needed to break out of the shell I was in. And the shell I was in prior to doing this, I was a musician, and I was on stage, and it was a persona that really wasn't who I really am. It was an image, and it was a way of sort of, actually, it's hard to imagine that I'd have an insecurity or have that anxiety of being in crowds. I'd get up on stage in front of an audience, and suddenly I had the guitar and I was singing and I had control.
Yes.
And I always used to feel going into a pub or anywhere where I had to do public speaking, I just clam up and I felt quite anxious. Being a YouTuber has changed that because I've met so many people. I've done so many hunting competitions now where I've helped the kids, and I've suddenly realised I can do this. And I've also been really blessed to have so many people come around and support me.
Yeah.
I didn't create the channel. It really got created by the community around me. I was $33,000 in the red. I've been doing it for 3 years. I was running about 11 grand behind each year. I was getting less and less. I was in debt. And a really cool guy called Mike Prater, the Pom, he set up a Patreon for me. And another cool guy called Darren H put some money in, and a whole lot of people started to support it. And they made it happen for me, and it's never been a big channel. It's just a steady one that ticks over, and it's never been anything but what we're really doing with all the warts and all. When we go hunting, if the dogs catch a pig that's that big, most guys won't show that. We show what it is because that's the reality of our hunting, and we also talk about our struggles and the things that we find difficult, and our down periods. It's not a channel that just shows wins and highlights all the time, because life isn't like that. And that is the trouble with social media. A lot of social media today portrays for particularly young people that you're always winning. You're always big and strong and beautiful. You don't see someone when they're sick. You don't see someone when they're depressed, or someone when they're having a battle on their hands. It's always like holding the big kingfish and holding the big stag or the boar and showing your wins all the time. And that's great. But that's not the reality of any of our lives. So that's what the channel tries to do. And the channel has also been really, really supportive in what I do, because for the last 20 years, before I was even a YouTuber, I've been looking after young guys that don't have dads, that need a place to go. And I always have someone on the property, and they live here at no cost to them. And that's the channel's helped provide that. Right now we've got Damo, who you've met, who you made an eye for.
Absolute legend.
And he's an absolute legend, and he's now on to month 7 with no alcohol, no smoking dope, no junk food. He's got a really good community. He's going to church every Sunday, so he's got a support group there. And he'll leave this property, just like the last guy did, going in the right direction. And that's the real driving factor for keeping the channel going. And patrons like you, mate, Crispy's a patron and has been for a long time, who make that possible. So every one of those people is also instrumental in making it a better world for our community. And we, just like you're helping Jamie right now, it's the same thing. And this is what's really an awesome thing about social media. This is using social media in a way that actually betters people's lives. And I've got a second channel too called the Bro Check Club, which is one that was set up when one of our young guys tragically took his own life, and that channel there is just mostly deals with men's mental health, because we all have it. We all have good days, we'll have bad days, and we all have mental health.
Exactly.
And it's something which we can also use this medium in a positive way to try to help people and let everyone know that they're not actually alone, because it does isolate people when you become this big guy. And everybody thinks, this guy's, I'm jealous or I'm envious. And it's really good to show people that, hey, I'm actually finding this difficult right now, or this has been hard for me to achieve. You talked in the beginning of the intro of this bit of land that I live on. And this bit of land really only came to me. I rented this old farmhouse for 13 years, and I've only owned it the last 2. And this bit of land didn't come with a house. This house has been built because the house was condemned, and it came also because of the channel and the work I'd also previously done on my life to save. It was finally, after all that time, the channel enabled me to keep going here and doing this. So it's added to my life too, and I share it with people. Nobody pays any rent on it. They live here free. I've got 3 people living here, and it's a free zone for them. All they've got to do is walk the dogs or do a little bit of gardening. There's no set amount. We don't measure anything, and if Damo's having a bad run for 3 weeks, nothing said. He's here to get well. The only rules I have is when you come on the property, you don't bring any, if you're a young fella, you don't bring any booze, no drugs, no cigarettes, no junk food, and no bad attitude. And if you've got a bad attitude, we'll sort that out. I've got nothing wrong with someone who's an addict or who's recovering alcoholic or recovering gambler or anything. That's open arms here, but we want to get well.
Exactly.
We don't want to enable that pattern to keep going on. So that's a hard one, because people have got to want to heal themselves. They've got to actually want to be well. So this is something that I believe you do best when you've got community around to support you.
Yep.
I think seeing a doctor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist is okay, but ultimately it's been proven that people heal when they're in a group situation and they can share their things with other people. So the channel is not just about going out and doing a survival mission or taking the boys pig hunting or doing a boys boot camp or doing a catch and cook or doing a walk around the section of the dogs. It's also about getting it into that community and showing it support on a higher level by actual actions, not just talking about it, by making a space for people. So we've always got one guy here all the time, and that's been largely supported by the channel. Yeah, that's what it does. And it's fun.
How long have you actually been doing that?
I started this channel in 2007.
Wow.
And you think about, there's a lot of channels that are way better than mine, much better YouTubers. I was looking at young Joe Eglinton the other day, fantastic channel and a fantastic, absolutely mega editor and photographer, way more talented than I could ever imagine. And he's only half my age, and this is brilliant, because he's only started, I think, 2 years ago, and he's way ahead of me. And it really is amazing to see young people doing that. Josh James, another one. I think Josh started in 2013.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it since 2007, but I always did it because I'm not good at it. I always did it for fun and something I enjoyed, and it was people that made it work, not me. And that's what's so humbling about it, because it belongs to everybody that got behind me. It would never have happened without people like yourself and all the people around that have done it, because I'm not that talented YouTuber. I'm just not. I'm not educated enough, and I'm not a good editor. I'm not a good filmer. I'm not even particularly I don't think a very good YouTuber, but the channel itself does really well. It's got a high rate of engagement and a high rate of good bastards that come off.
And you have a lot of diverse content too.
I do.
You don't specifically target one thing yet. You've got everything from hunting right down to gardening and lifestyle and the works, isn't it? So
yeah, and that's something actually that we are told that we shouldn't do with YouTube. We're told that you should niche down on a particular thing and stick with it, and I haven't done that because I don't care. I don't care. I said a long time ago, when I get to 50,000 subscribers, I'll stop. Well, I think I'm at 70,000 now.
Nice.
I think today I've just ticked over to 70,000. And
congratulations.
Cheers, bro. And it really, you realise you have a point where, how much money do you need? How many subscribers do you need? And you've got to have a cut-off point. Otherwise, you've got to keep feeding that monster. And the only reason I'm doing it now is just because I really love engaging with people. Like, I've had people here all week. You could never get lonely here. And talking about, as I started off, about that anxiety of being in crowds and that, I still struggle to go into a crowd, but today the crowd comes to me. And it's like, I can't be lonely. And it's such an amazing feeling to have this big family of people who you end up actually on a deep level becoming a really tight community. We all know each other. I mean, you and I know each other. We share stuff, and if we don't talk to each other for a long period of time, we just reconnect up back where we were. It's like seeing an old friend again.
It is.
And we've all got those friends. You might not see them for 5 years, and you connect up, and bang, you're like that again.
Yep.
Well, I've got hundreds of those which we connect up all the time, so you don't get lonely, and it's great. And then we share the common thing. We're all got the same mindset. We enjoy the hunting. We enjoy the fishing. We love our dogs. We love our livestock. We love our rural life. We like being outdoors. And the irony is, because of doing this, you spend a lot of time indoors with this bloody thing here, which I'm doing tonight, editing, which is the hard part of the job. And that's the part that people don't get. They see it, he's having a great time, but it's the hours. And I was at my chiropractor today getting straightened out. I've been there twice this week. I fell down a hole, but he said the worst part is this knot in the back of my neck. I said, what's that for? He said, that's from sitting at a desk all day doing this stuff. So sitting is the new smoking. So while you're here, we set out a little gym out in the shed.
We did.
So I've got this rule now. I'm going to do a couple of hours editing, then out there and do a few squats or a few curls, then come back in here. So I'm moving.
It up. Brilliant.
Yeah, keep it going.
Cool. And any plans for the channel?
I have, mate. I've got some really big plans. I've been going through a real health battle this year, which I won't talk about, but it's been pretty debilitating, and I'm slowly getting better and better. And the thing I'm really, really passionate about is doing outdoor survival type stuff, but also challenging myself. The last one that I did that's going really well was my survival with Māori artefacts, and I'm really passionate about that because I grew up with that as a child. I grew up in the Abel Tasman National Park. My father was a ranger, and I found artefacts and just this type of stuff here, this flint, this argillite that the Māori used for making stuff. I did this challenge with just stuff like that, and I went away with that and the clothes I was wearing, and I did 7 days down here on the coast. I built a hut. I used nothing steel at all. I managed to build a Kentucky raft. I made rope and I set it out to sea, and I caught one fish. I can tell you guys, if you try and do it primitive styles, don't even bother making a fish hook. It's a waste of time. I caught nothing on any of the fish hooks. What I actually caught my fish on was a gouge. And it's a long spike, and you've got to let the fish completely swallow it. Don't pull it. So the Kentucky raft is good because it floats out at sea and it floats around. So I caught a snapper like that, and then I built a big raft that I sat on out of flaxwood and went to sea and caught a little snapper. And that was really a fantastic experience. But as a YouTuber, I completely stuffed it up because the camera was running and I thought it was off. So when I got the snapper, it was coming up, I've got a fish on. I turned it on. I thought I turned it on. I was actually turning it off. And then all the filming of bringing the fish up, and then when I went to turn it, what I thought was off, I was actually turning it on then, and I got about 1 second of the fish, and that was the only bit I got. When I got back home, looked at the footage, it's like, it's like, as a YouTuber, the most critical part of the whole thing. Build a boat, go to sea, catch a fish. I am lucky. There's a tiny, if you watch the video, there's a little bit where you can see me with a fish for a bit. I slowed it right down to milk it. So these are the challenges of self-filming.
Oh, exactly.
If you're self-filming, you don't have a camera crew, but this is real. This is the real deal, man. This is going out. This is real survival. You're out by yourself. You don't have a camera crew. You're not Bear Grylls who's got a camera crew the whole time. He's passing you a Kit Kat in the break, or you're sitting down at the break sharing pizza. You're still out there overnight with the gear and that. And so these are what I really like because they challenge me. But that particular challenge, I ended up in the hospital twice after that. I was so exhausted. So that was the hardest challenge, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. That's what I want to do again.
Cool.
Yeah, I also want to do ones like that, and I've also done one like it where you go into nature. It's not a primitive one. It's a challenge where you take everything that you find that's washed up on the beach or that's in the mountains, and you make something out of it. And I've done one of those, and I found a broken mussel buoy, and I put a side piece on it with another piece of wood, and I made it into a little catamaran, and I paddled out to sea, and I actually caught fish out at sea using just what I found and scrounged. That was a fun video, which is actually doing quite well too. So that's the sort of thing I really like doing because it involves creativity.
Yes.
Where you're using your mind to make something rather than just copying somebody else. You're thinking, what can I do here to survive? And it really is something I think that touches the heart of all of us because we all have this part in us in our mind where in ancient times our ancestors did this, and there's something we kind of like about it, and there's an affinity with that. So that's what the channel's going to do in the future when I'm well enough. And we'll do the normal thing. We'll do boys boot camps again when I'm back up to speed. We'll always do our hunting with our dogs and fishing. Yeah, no, I've got a lot of. I'm looking forward to the future. But right now, I'm just filming around home, walking with the dogs, filming my little dog Tilly, the toilet brush over here. He's become a bit of a celebrity on the channel. Just chilled out, and the people on the land like you. Yeah, and it's bloody good to have you here too, man.
Oh, it's awesome being here.
Yeah, this is my gift from Crispy Guys. It's a bloody ripper. And I can't wait to actually blood that on something. It's just a nice knife. It'd be a really good knife for an adventure video because you could use it for that there and another piece of wood for like a baton, cutting stuff. And just a lovely knife from you, buddy. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah, getting the right way.
So you have a YouTube channel.
Yep.
And you have a Patreon channel. Any other media platforms that you use?
I have a TikTok account.
Yep.
It's not big. It's got 30,000 followers, and I've got an Instagram, and I don't know how many's on that. I don't know. It's probably 20 or something. I'm not sure. And I've got a Facebook page, Clay Tall Stories.
Yeah. I also have a website with merchandise, don't you?
I do, but I don't push it. And I sell a little bit of stuff on that. Yeah. I'm going to start selling stuff for the ladies because they don't have a site. They've got that's staying here. That's Hillary and Margaret have got the Magical Cottage, and they sell things like fire burners and all these creams that they make.
Yeah.
And these lip balms and all that stuff. So I'm going to help them with that, but I don't want anything for it. And to be honest, I'm not into selling stuff, bro. It's not me. I can't be arsed with it.
Yeah.
Don't need to. Be selling stuff to people. People know what they want. Yeah. It's something that somebody set up for me, and I never really wanted it. In fact, the person that set it up, she was someone I was quite close to, and I actually bought all the merchandise off her and paid her out just because she couldn't sell it, and it just sat in the shop. And I've got my CDs, which I don't care if they sell or not. I mean, CDs are a thing of the past anyway. Everything's digital.
Seem to be now, don't they?
Yeah. Most of my music is streamed online, and it's something that helps put fuel in the truck each month. It's not a huge sales, but it ticks over. We probably run the truck on music sales each month. Yeah. So it's not big, but it all adds up and keeps it going.
Yeah. So there's another side of Clay that some of you might not have known. Most of you probably do, but he's a big musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I did before that's why I became a YouTuber, because I tore my rotator cuff, just like you've just done.
Just like I've just done.
Yeah, I was going down to the Bale to a pig, and I tore it backwards, and I couldn't play concerts. And so I had to. So I thought, well, I'll try being a YouTuber, and I struggled, mate. For 3 years, I was going backwards, and I actually was in debt. I was renting here, so I didn't have a mortgage to pay or anything. I was paying the rent, but I was in debt $32,000, and then it was when Mike Pratt set up Patreon that I actually got out of debt. Yeah. Took a while, and then we started to break even. We've never made a profit on the channel. It's always broken even. It's never ever, and it was never meant to. Yeah. It's always just kept the.
It's just a fun thing, isn't it?
Well, it's a whole lifestyle. Yeah. I would make a lot more money playing music. Music pays a lot more than this. But
although you're playing again now, aren't you? You've been producing a little bit.
I'm producing, but I'm not playing live. Like live concerts is where I make the money.
Yep.
If I'm doing a private venue, like my last gig was for Foodstuffs, and it was $6,000 for 2 nights. And that was my last gig, proper professional one that I played, other than playing over at Blenheim, where I play St Patrick's Day every year. That's the only gig I do, and I haven't done that for a couple of years. But my last one was $6,000. So there's 2 nights. That's the sort of money I was making as a corporate entertainer.
Yeah.
I can't make that. That's more than I make in a month as a YouTuber.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in 2 nights, and I did weddings for $3,000 a night for a wedding. I'd be doing 3 or 4 weddings a month.
Yep.
That was really, really top money. So no, I can't see myself doing that again because I'm not passionate about it.
Yep.
I'm passionate about this.
About this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool bananas.
Mm.
So there you go. So that is the legend. That's Clay Tall Stories. And I think most of you guys on my channel are already subbed or know of Clay. So, but if you don't, and you haven't seen his videos or any of his work, go and have a look. That's well worth it. YouTube and Patreon, eh?
Oh yeah, I only go to Patreon if it's within your means.
Yeah, and also what he does with Patreon is a little bit more of your personal stuff, isn't it?
It's inside.
It's a little bit more of your homesteading, the gardens, lifestyles. It's a little bit more of that, whereas the YouTube is a little bit more of the mainstream.
I think with Patreon I give it inside things. Like the last Patreon video was Bullshit Bill that came around. I don't know if you saw that, the Karma one, where I found out something that stunned me, that's why he'd always hated me, this man, and he revealed that in that video. That's the sort of thing I don't put public because he was caught on the spot and it made him look pretty silly. And you can see him chewing his words. And that I don't want to belittle someone, even though he's a bit of a rat bag. That's the sort of thing that's on Patreon.
Yeah.
And it shows my children a bit more and just...
a little bit more of your personal life and you yourself. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Thanks for that, bro. And go check him out and enjoy the lovely block of land he's living on. Cheers, guys.